This is Ponce reporting to you live from the public test realm. The date is March the 6th, 2013. I'm here today to discuss the changes which are happening here now. Balance changes, to be more specific, to items. Yeah, of course, none of this stuff is on the live server yet, so it's not final, of course, so take all this sort of with a grain of salt, though usually most of the stuff kind of sticks, at least relatively close to the changes.
To triumph.
So yeah, why don't we just go over what these changes are in alphabetical order, starting with Aegis of the Legion. Now, this item is not really too much different. It gets this sort of weird addition that the aura is now increased by 50% on minions. So minions are now slightly tougher when hanging around a guy who has Aegis of the Legion. This has actually slightly more implications for Runic Bulwark later, which I'll be discussing towards the end of the video due to alphabetical order. But yeah, at any rate, Aegis of the Legion aura is better on minions now. Next, let's move on to Iceborn Gauntlet, the item Riot can't seem to decide on, because it keeps getting changed. So yeah, what are these changes? Not too much. Basically, the cost is the same, although the combined cost has gone up because Sheen is now cheaper. Why don't we just talk about this now? Screw alphabetical order. Sheen is just 60 gold cheaper. So yeah, that has implications for all the other items Sheen builds out of, but we'll get to those in order still. And aside from that, the important part is Iceborn Gauntlet now gives 10 less AP, used to give 40, now gives 30, and gives 10 more armor. Used to give 60, now gives 70. So if you buy Iceborn Gauntlet, you're tankier than you used to be, but less AP full than you used to be. Yes, AP full is a word. Don't look it up. Moving on, let's go to Lichbane. Now, Lichbane is, I don't even know I'm covering this, it's basically exactly the same. Combined cost just went up to compensate for Sheen getting cheaper. So it's the same thing. Moving on, Locket of the Iron Solari. Now, this item has gotten cheaper. Now, you might be asking yourself, why'd they buff Locket of the Iron Solari? It's already a stupid, efficient item. In terms of cost to stat gains and all that stuff, and people have been spamming it, and it's really good. Well, it's because it gives 100 less HP. It used to give 400 HP, now it gives 300. So yeah, I'm not one of those mathy dudes, but I believe 100 HP to 250 gold is not an efficient exchange, so it's slightly nerfed overall, and I'm guessing they're trying to push it more towards the support role, so make the item more affordable on a support budget, but less attractive to maybe a top laner or something who has more gold to spend, or a jungler. It's pretty common now to see this item on those sorts of champions. But that's just my guess. Who knows what Riot's thinking. Moving on, Randuin's Omen. So yeah, this item now has received a slight nerf. Basically, the attack speed debuff that people get when they hit you, that's been nerfed by 5%. It used to be 20% public test realm, it's now 15%. I can see why this has been changed. I mean, Randuin's Omen is really good in Season 3. And it kind of really ruins AD carry, the AD carry's day. So this is also out of order, but Randuin's Omen has Warden's Mail has the exact same change. Went from 20% 15%. I still think these items are worth getting. I mean, it's just, yeah, they're slightly crappier. Ravenous Hydra. Let's move on to that one. Hydra. So this has been changed so that it used to cost, I believe, 3,500. Now costs 3,300. So the price has been reduced by 200. This is all coming out of the combined cost. And the lifesteal has gone from 10% to 12%. So it's cheaper and slightly better. It's sort of an interesting change. I mean, I'm guessing it's just because maybe it's still a bit of an underused item compared to some of the other Season 3 editions. For example, like it's basically seemed like all the spotlight has gone to Warmogs, Black Cleaver, and now Blade of the Ruined King. And sort of no one talks about Gravenous Hydra too much unless for some reason they're talking about Fiora. So, I don't know, we'll see what this item's like. Personally, I don't think I built it in the last month or so. So, I don't know, maybe people start building this more on a wide variety of champions. I'm not saying the item's bad, but it's just better now. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Runic Bulwark. We already kind of discussed this with the Aegis of the Legion changes. So this, of course, also gets the buff that Aegis of the Legion had, where it's 50% better on minions. And it's now cheaper. It used to cost 3,200 gold total. Now costs 2,950. That all comes out of the combined cost. However, it gives 100 less HP. Used to give 400, now gives 300. Sound familiar? Yep, it's a lot like the Locket changes. So, again, I really think they're trying to push people away from building it on champions like top laners and junglers and just sort of tanky things. People who have lots of money to spend and making it sort of more of a budget item with less benefit for yourself and more affordable to supports. That's really what it looks like to me. That's just my interpretation. Not saying that's what Riot's trying to do. Seeker's Armguard has also been changed. Let's take a look at this item. Seeker's Armguard has been slightly nerfed. It used to give 25 AP, now gives 20 flat AP. The unique passive thing where you gain AP from killing things, that hasn't changed. I believe this is also another very sort of cost-efficient item, so I guess they're trying to tone that down a bit. I mean, I believe it was released as an item so that AP champions had an option to build early armor that would build into something useful. And now that sort of a lot of the bruiser items like Black Cleaver are being nerfed, I guess they're toning back stuff like Seeker's Armguard to compensate for a bit, I guess. That probably factors into the Riot's decision making. Again, my guess. Trinity Force is slightly different. We're going to go over it for the hell of going over it. Trinity Force. It is basically 60 gold cheaper. It's just the sheen change again. You guys are tired about hearing about that, so we're not going to go over that any more than we have to. And the last item on our list here, the Zephyr. That has been changed so that the combined cost is cheaper. It's 725 combined cost now, as opposed to the old 1,200, and gains 5 more attack damage. It used to give 20 and gives 25 AD. However, it now builds out of a pickaxe and the stinger, as opposed to stinger and a longsword. So basically, you're paying more up front and then paying less in the end and getting slightly better stats. I mean, it's not a massive change. I don't build this item too much, so I don't know how it's going to factor into people's builds and, you know, saving out gold. I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a difference, but it's always nice to get, you know, nice upfront stats, and then not so you don't have to wait till the very end for the big AD payoff. So I mean, overall, it's a slight buff. I wouldn't say it's, you know, game changing or anything, but that's there. So yeah, that's it for items that I've seen. There could be other stuff in here somewhere, but I haven't seen it. So yeah, that's it for item balance changes for now. I may cover other changes, balance changes in the future for this patch. I still have to do skin spotlight videos, which I do every patch. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope to have my new computer soon, so I can upload a lot more videos in better quality. But thanks for watching. See you around.